Everybody thinks Varroa mites are the biggest threat to honeybees, but I'm not finding that to be the biggest threat. For me, in my area, the biggest threat are the toxic chemicals like neonicotinoids and glyphosates that the farmers are using on their fields. See this field here? This is right next to my property, and here are my hives. But that field is not the issue. A year ago, if you look out there past those trees, a farmer planted corn and sprayed neonicotinoids. And within a few hours, I noticed the bees in my hives were dying. And the wind was coming from that direction the day they did that spraying. And the spray, the neonicotinoids actually got into my hives. It wasn't the bees that were foraging, it was the actual nurse bees and stuff in my hives that were dying. And they were out there a couple weeks ago spraying, and it wasn't quite as windy, but what I've noticed since then is the colonies, my smaller colonies, the ones you really notice the loss of workers, have gotten small. See, the bees come out here to this field here, and there's dandelions out here, and there's other flowers, or other kinds of weeds. They come out here, and then they go maybe over to that other field there, and that spray left that field while they were spraying, and it got outside the area. So my bees are picking up those chemicals, foraging, and they're not making it back to the hive. They're getting sick and they're dying. And for the larger colonies, it's not really a big issue. You're not losing a whole lot of bees. But my smaller colonies, see, what happens is your workers leave to go forage and they don't make it back into the hive. And the other issue is the cold weather. It's been really cold the last few weeks, and it's going to be cold for another week or so, and here it is almost mid-May. What happens is the foragers don't make it back because they get killed by the toxic chemicals. And I've actually had to downsize these colonies. And I did a acetic acid a couple weeks ago, and I haven't found a single dead Varroa mite. So my bees don't have Varroa mites. It's not the issue. The issue is the toxic chemicals. See, I've downsized. And what I've noticed with some of my small colonies is they have lots of cat brood, but then they don't have the workers to cover the cat brood at night, and they get cold and they lose that brood. So the colony actually shrinks from the loss of the workers that died foraging, and then you lose some of your brood because they can't keep it warm. So the greatest threat to the honeybees in the United States is these damn crop farmers. They're not only killing our honeybees, they're poisoning us. It's in our food, it's in our air. My wife is getting a double mastectomy in 2 days. And I largely blame that from all the years of living here around these crop farmers and absorbing all these chemicals. They've been using neonicotinoids for 15 years. You don't realize it, but you open your windows, let in the air during the summer, during the spring. And because I have proof last year, I had a row of hives here that were facing that direction. The wind was blowing from that field. Within 2 hours of that farmer being out there spraying, my bees were dying. And they were also getting in, the spray was getting into these hives here. I didn't have any losses on those back there. It was just the ones close to that field. So we're inhaling those chemicals in the air, in our water, and in our food. And over the years, we're getting cancer. I've gone down to the hospital, seen people getting chemotherapy. There's hundreds of people lined up every day to get it. And I've been told that people are younger than they used to be. And the rich people are making money off this. People who own those hospitals, they don't really want to press the government to stop using these chemicals. They're making money off it, which is really sick to actually see people suffer and make money off that. I just can't stand it. I always have to say something when I'm down there. I've had arguments with doctors and stuff, and it just drives me nuts. What is killing your honeybees is killing you. It just won't kill you right away, but it will kill you after several years. And it's not a very good thing to watch somebody die from cancer. So for me, the Varroa mites are not the issues. Toxic chemicals are the issue. And nobody does anything about it. Nobody cares. Government's bought off by the corporations. The crop farmers are a bunch of chumps. They think, oh, we spray these chemicals, it's going to make lots of money for us. We won't have any weeds, we won't have any pests. Their soil is toxic. Everything they touch is toxic. Our food is toxic. Our water's toxic. Our air is toxic. No wonder why the honeybees are having a hard time. Oh, and I want to say one more thing. I've got a lot of queens, you know, if you don't give them an extra deep, because you don't want the wax moths getting in there right away. And if you don't have extra deep, instead of, the queen will be down here, instead of going down, she can't go down, she'll go up into the medium where the honey is and start laying. So what I did on those over there, the colonies were large enough, I go ahead and I'd put a deep in between. The queen would be down here, and I put an extra deep in between the medium and get her to go up there so she wouldn't go up into the medium. But on these smaller colonies, if you did that, there's a good chance that the colony would leave some of the brood and go down where the queen is. So it's going to be cold for a week, and I'm not worried about wax moths, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another deep to these hives. I've checked most of these. They've got brood across here, and the queen is up in most of these laying, and I'd rather not have her up there laying. So I'm going to add a deep to these on the bottom. I'm not going to put them in between the brood because I don't want to lose any. It's going to be cold down to the teens is what they're saying this weekend. So, okay, thank you.